Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to G Bear's Off-Grid Ways. And we're back on electricity again today because I made a promise that I would cover some other things. All right, so today let's get right into it here. And we're going to talk about off-grid wiring in your cabin or in your bathhouse or in your sheds or your shops, whatever. Okay, you can run Romex inside of closed walls. It's not supposed to be run exposed on the wall. Okay, that's a no-no as far as code goes. They want to see Romex inside the wall, covered on both sides with siding, drywall on the inside and plywood on the outside or whatever. All right, but what I did when I built my cabin, I used all of this MC cable. Okay, now this is number 12-2 MC cable. So it's got a green ground, a white neutral, and a black hot wire. I ran that for all of my electrical outlets in the cabin. I also used 14 gauge in the same type of MC cable. MC stands for metallic clad or metal clad. And I use the same MC cable for all of my lighting, even though I put the lighting at low voltage, which I would never do again. I just go put the lighting with 120 volts and forget about it. But the reason for that is because off-grid, there are critters. And somehow, if you don't have cats or dogs to guard your area, somehow those critters will end up in your walls or in your attics. And they'll keep you up at night like they did to me for a whole year. Until Tomcat came around and took care of that for me. And then when Tomcat left, when the dogs showed up, and one of the dogs took care of it for me. So they can't chew through this, but they can chew through this. So that's why I use MC cable. MC cable is not much more expensive than Romex. So it's a better way of going if you're going to do it. Now it does take a little extra tools to work with because you got to have a cutter for these. You could always use a hacksaw, and you got to cut across on a diagonal, on an angle across one of the knuckles, and then you can just unscrew it and take it off. But your problem with that using a hacksaw is it's very possible you could cut the insulation on the wiring on the inside, and then you'll have a short, so you just ruined a piece. So they do make a special tool for it. I don't think I can have it handy here, but let me take a look-see. If I do, I'll show it to you. If I don't, I'll show it to you in another time. Let's see. I'm not seeing it here. Yeah, I'm not seeing it right offhand here. But it's a neat little tool. It's got a gripper handle on there where you put it over the cable, you squeeze it down, it locks it in place, and then you turn a crank that has a little wheel on it that cuts through that casing. And it has a little flip over switch so you can go from MC cable to flex. So you can do larger flex with it also. And normally I keep all my electrical here, but I haven't sorted through this and organized it yet, so things are hard to find in here. And it's probably right here pretty close in front of me, just buried underneath something. But anyway, that's the way to go, is with the MC cable off-grid, because like I said, critters cannot chew through that plastic. And plastic is very attractive to those critters. And you know why? I found this out a long time ago when I first started doing electrical. It's because plastic is one simple molecule off from margarine. And that's why I never eat margarine. Real butter or nothing. That stuff with, I can't believe it's not butter. Well, I can believe it's not. So, anyway, that's the, I thought I remembered that I might have had that conduit cutter up here, or the MC cable cutter up here, but I did clean this all off, so if I did, I put it back over there with the electrical. Anyway, so that's one thing, is the wiring. Next, my friend Tony from doing redneck things off grid is getting ready to switch over to his 48-volt system on his solar and battery banks. So he's wiring up the AC part right now, so that he has all of that done when he's ready to flip the switch and turn into 48 volts. So one of the things he's doing is he's putting a couple of outlets around. He's going to put one for the washer and dryer on its own 20 amp breaker, which is a plus. That's what you want to do. And you got high amp draw, like a washer and dryer. You want those to be on their own breaker. Only one outlet covering them. Now, code says that at wet locations, or within 3 feet of wet locations, you use a GFCI. And they always go with this little mouth downwards, so 2 eyes and a mouth. Just remember, the face does not go upside down when you install these in a wall. They always go this way. If you go into a room and you see one of these installed upside down, the reason for that in a residence is because that's a switched outlet. It's connected to a light switch. So you can plug a table lamp in there, and then you operate it with a switch on the wall rather than reaching under the lamp and pushing or twisting the little rotary switch on the lamp itself. You leave the lamp switch on all the time, and you operate it from a wall switch. So they'll put those in upside down in a room, so you know which one it is. When you walk in the room, you can say, oh, that's the one they've got on the switch. So if I set my bed up over here, I can put my nightstand there, and I can put my lamp on the nightstand, and I can operate it with a switch when I come in the room. So that's what that's all about. Okay? Now, when you're using GFIs, you use 1 GFI per circuit. You cannot put 2 GFIs in the same circuit. Okay, so you're going to come off your breaker out of your panel, and you come to the back of your panel, your GFI here, and you'll see here it says line, and then down here it says load. Okay, so the ones that come off of your breaker go on the line side. So the same thing, you got a brass screw for the black wire and a silver screw for the white wire. And then the ground wire goes to the green screw right here. Okay, so that's your ground goes in there, and they make it easy. You just loosen the screw, strip your wire, and you slide it right down that little channel underneath the little metal clip, and then tighten it down. On these, you would have to wrap the wire around the screw. No, they got the holes here, so you can put it in the hole and then tighten the screw, and that'll lock it in place. So you don't have to twist wires like this and wrap them around screws. You just use a straight wire like that, and it just goes right into the hole, and you're ready to go when you tighten the screws. Again, these have Phillips on them, but don't use a Phillips. Use a flat screwdriver so you can tighten them down really well. You don't want loose wires in your electrical outlets. So, let's say you wanted to have an outlet outside, and that's going to be a wet location. So you want to put a GFI on there to protect you from getting electrocuted in the damp weather. No, you cannot put a GFI outside. Well, you can, but it ain't going to last you long. Moisture and dust on GFIs are their enemies, and they will go bad on you in no time at all. So how do you protect that outdoor outlet from, or how do you protect it to be on a GFI but have just a regular outlet? Well, that's what the load side of this is for. Okay, you see load there. So you come off of this with your black wire and your white wire. Same thing, black on the brass screw, white on the white screw. And you come off your ground here and go to a regular outlet. Okay, so you put the regular outlet outside in a box, and you put a waterproof cover on it. Okay, this is a double cover. This would go on a double box like that one. But they make them in plastic and metal, and they make them with clear covers on them so you can plug something in and leave it plugged in all the time. Either way, the idea is your GFI will be indoors, right behind on the other side of the wall, just a little higher or lower than you would outside. And speaking of elevation, outdoors, your outlet should be 2 feet off the ground. Okay, 24 inches up from the ground. And the reason for that is in case there's a flood that comes through, you got 2 feet before your outlet goes into the water. All right. Now, if there is a ground fault, or if this water did get into this outlet, it would pop this one that is on the inside, the one that's feeding this. So this one is protected. So when you buy GFCIs, in the box itself comes this little thing of stickers that says GFCI protected. And what you do is take down one of those stickers and you put it right on your outlet right here, outdoors. So that when somebody opens up the cover to look inside, they see that this is a GFCI protected outlet and they don't have to worry about getting electrocuted. Okay, another thing about GFCIs. If it is popped like this one is, the test button will pop it just like a circuit breaker in a panel. And you cannot reset it unless power is going to it. So don't sit there trying to reset it and say it's no good, it doesn't reset, unless you have power going to it. So once you turn the breaker on at the panel, then you come over and you hit your reset button and you'll hear a click. And the reset button will stay in, the test button will pop out. Okay, now, some of them will have a black and a red button on them, so that you know that the red is the popped button. All right, so that's how you do it. So you just take a box like this on the inside wall and put it up about, let's say this was your outside. Or let's say you use this type of box, which has ears on it. So this is a surface mount outside. So you would put this surface mounted on the wall. Now you have to put a PVC plug in the bottom and the top so that water and dirt and dust don't get inside. And little critters. Because believe it or not, you leave openings like this in a box, even though it's inside the wall, something is going to crawl inside of there and make a home inside that box. So, back to it. You got this one on the outside wall. So just above this one, on the inside wall, you put a box like this. Okay. Now this one's going to hold your GFCI. Now you want to make sure that when you do that, you see how deep this box is compared to this box. Put it here. Okay, so you see it's about a good 1/2 inch deeper than this one. And this is what they call a old work box or a cut-in box. So you can just use the template that comes with it, or you can just turn it this way, put it against the wall, and then use a pencil to mark the straight edge down here, down both sides. And what you want to do is leave these ears out of your tracing mark. So it'll be just a rectangle on the wall. So when this fits into the hole that you made, these ears stay up against the wall on the inside. Okay, so now you can put your GFCI in here. You put your wires that are coming to it from the panel, go into one of the top holes here, and then you take a wire coming out the bottom and you go to the outdoors where this box is, and you connect it there. So then this one would go on the outside, this one would go on the inside. So that one's still protected. If this one pops, you just have to go back inside the room and press the reset button and reset it. That's it. So yes, you don't use extra GFIs that down a circuit all the way down the line. You got to have one only per circuit. So for your laundry, you don't have to do this. You just have one coming over to where your laundry is. You have 2 plugs here, so you can plug your washer in and whatever else you want to plug in there. Now if it's an iron and you're going to do an ironing board, remember, don't run the iron and your washer at the same time, because it'll be too much and it'll pop your breaker. Okay? So that's all covered. I think that pretty much does it. Now don't think that you can get one of these waterproof covers from your local hardware store, and that if you put one of these over your GFI outdoors, it'll be safe from the water and the dust. It doesn't work that way. And there it is. It doesn't work that way. This thing will give you some protection, but if you put a GFCI outdoors, it will pick up moisture, it will pick up dust, and pretty soon it won't work. You can't reset it, you can't test it. It's done, throw it out. And they're not cheap. These are cheaper. All right, so I wanted to cover that for Tony. And these cut-in boxes, or these old work boxes as they call them, they have ears on them. So when you mark that out and you cut the rectangle out to where this fits inside, and these ears are up against your inside wall panel, it can't go in any further. So then you put a screwdriver in here, or your screw gun, and when you start to tighten the screw, this will flip up like that, and then it will come forward and it'll grab the inside of your wall panel and lock that in place. And there's one on each side, so it can't pull out. So it's not free floating, it's locked into the wall. All right, I hope that helps you, Tony. Any other questions? Leave them in the comments below. I'll be glad to do another video and update you on any other information you need. And that goes for everybody out there. This is G Bear signing off.